Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, a follow-up on that Lionel 1062 that I modified with that Marx double reduction motor. Now, first of all, you can see I've removed the numbers, so it is no longer a Lionel 1062. And I've mounted the drawbar on the back, and I have epoxied the mounting plate in position. And to modify this drawbar, this was the original drawbar for the Lionel motor. Now on the original, the drawbar is actually not pivoted. It actually mounts to the rear of the motor itself. It's cantilevered. So anyway, I cut it off, drilled a hole in it, and then drilled a hole in the body and just put a spacer in there. And I've got it mounted with a paper joiner, as you see. So it's really, really simple. It's effective. It works. It was really easy to mount that drawbar. And it is technically the original drawbar. And then the mounting plate, as you see, I've just put some epoxy on it for now. I'm actually thinking of mounting this with a screw with a spacer under it and mounting it directly to the body. Now on the front, I was going to drill holes to install screws, but I think what I'm going to do is just put the original plate back on that held the original motor in. So I've got one drop of 5-minute epoxy right now to hold this in position so I can modify that mounting plate. But for all intent and purpose, it is finished. So once I get that plate installed, there's nothing really left to do. As you see, it looks nice. It runs absolutely splendidly. And just got the drawbar put on it. So let's throw this on a consist. We'll take this around. This is a Marx consist. And there's 14 plastic cars. These 4 are actually original Lionel that I've replaced the trucks on, converted them to Marx. So let's take this around, see how it runs. Slowly bring this up to, there's 50% power. Excuse me. So as you see, that runs really well. It looks nice and it runs nice. That's the neat thing about it. And it's always more fun to build something than it is to buy something, in my opinion. And the nice thing about this is it's a perfect use for that shell. Now, I don't work on Lionel very often, so that shell was going to sit under the bench forever. You know, the odds of coming across a motor that I was going to drop in that were pretty slim. So that's why I thought it'd be a great project to modify it and put a Marx motor in it. And as you see, it worked. It gives me a new locomotive, Marx double reduction motor, old Lionel 1062 shell that I've removed the numbers from, and it's up and running, and it's running just absolutely splendidly. So it looks nice, it runs good, and it costs nothing. Made completely out of junk. An old double reduction motor assembled out of parts, and then modified and installed in this Lionel shell. So it gave me a new locomotive that actually looks quite nice. The nice thing about it, of course, is that it runs just absolutely splendidly. Has a good bright headlight, has the original drawbar, double reduction Marx motor, pulling 14 cars, and as you can see, it's running at an absolute constant speed all the way around this rail. So this turned out to be a really nice locomotive. And I'll modify that front plate, and this will be finished. But of course, the nice thing about it is I have the satisfaction of building it out of junk. And it's nice to get back to trains. So this is running really, really well. So it was a lot of fun. It's a rainy day here today, so it was a perfect day to stay in. So I wanted to look for a project, and this presented itself. I thought it would be the perfect thing to do, since I had just got that motor finished, and I had this shell available that was going to sit there forever. So a new locomotive up and running. So I'm really pleased with this. Like I said, running at 50% power, pulling 14 cars and just running splendidly. So it looks really nice, it runs well, good bright headlight, has its new drawbar, has its new motor. I took the numbers off, as you can see, since it's excuse me, technically no longer a Lionel 1062. So I'm happy with it, and it was a lot of fun. And it was a really fun project for a rainy Saturday afternoon. So it's up and running. I'll modify that front mounting plate for the crossbar, and this will be finished. And it gives me a brand new locomotive that didn't cost anything at all. And as you can see, it's running just absolutely splendidly. And it looks nice. That's the nice thing about it. And it's running at an absolute constant speed all the way around the rail. So you really couldn't ask it to run better than this. So it was definitely worth the time it took to build it. It was a lot of fun, and of course I now have a new locomotive. So I'll probably be running this the rest of the night. I don't foresee any bugs popping up in it. The motor is running absolutely splendidly. It's mounted. It's really solid. And then once I put that front crossbar mount in it, this is going to be a really, really nice custom locomotive. So you can see this looks good, and looking at it you would never know that this was just cobbled together out of junk parts. It actually looks quite good. I don't think anyone would object to owning it. Pulling 14 cars with no problem at all, running at a constant speed, double reduction motor, has a traction tire on it, as you can see, and this actually looks quite good. Is it perfect? Nope, far from it. It's cobbled together out of junk parts. But the neat thing is, it looks nice, and it runs just absolutely perfectly, as you can see. Take it back up to 50% power. Like I said, I'll probably just run this the rest of the night. But it sure does run good. That's the neat thing about it. It gave me something to do on a rainy Saturday afternoon, and a couple hours work, you have a new locomotive. So I'll run this the rest of tonight, and tomorrow I will get that front mounting bar finished. I have to modify the original Lionel. And then get that screwed on, and the locomotive is complete. So like I said, it was definitely worth the time it took to do it. And it was a lot of fun. That's the neat thing about it. And this is actually the gratifying part, is after you've finished it, putting it on the rail and watching it run. So a fun project. Anyway, just a quick follow-up on this Lionel 1062 with a Marx double reduction motor. Motor was built out of junk parts and now installed in this old Lionel shell. So it's not a Lionel and it's not a Marx. So I guess you'd call it a Larx locomotive. So we'll call it the Larx 01. But it's a lot of fun to do this. The nice thing about it is it doesn't cost anything. So a new locomotive for free. Hard to beat the price. So just a quick follow-up. It looks good, it runs good, and it was a lot of fun to make it. So just want to do a follow-up video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.